Hi everybody. Today what I'm doing is I'm trying to do a few different things. I'm making my medium muscle balm. I am trying to standardize the recipe because I have like 4 of them and I usually make it different every time. It's got to be standardized. The other thing is I got this this little roller ball to see if I can get the right amount of shea butter, cocoa butter, and oil with beeswax to see if I can get it so that it rolls out nicely. I still don't know exactly what that combination is, but we're going to find out. So I'm going to make the muscle balm. I'm going to start with my my own balm. Now, if you don't make balms, if you have beeswax and any kind of oil, olive oil, sweet almond oil, any kind of oil, you can make your own balm. You don't have to use the infused oils that I'm using, and you don't even have to use the shea butter and the cocoa butter. But if you don't have any of that and you don't want to start with making your own muscle balm as the base, you can use petroleum jelly. The leading muscle balm in the world uses petroleum jelly and paraffin wax as the base. I don't use either of those products. Well, paraffin is petroleum. So I don't use petroleum products in mine. So I make my own base, which is more natural and good for you. But if you want to use petroleum jelly, it's a great base for this. And all you need to do is heat it up before you add your menthol and essential oils. Now, they used to have menthol essential oil, but I've always used the chips. Now, they're a little difficult to use sometimes because when you put them in the double boiler, it can fill up the room with fumes and, you know, could knock you out. Well, not seriously knock you out, but I get a reaction to it. My eyes water. So I always wear a mask. I always wear the mask over my nose. So I'm going to give you the recipe to the medium, and then I'm going to tell you how to customize it for lighter and how you could possibly standardize it for to make it stronger, which is the one I use all the time. So I'm going to get going in a second, but I wanted to let you know there's 3 objectives here. And if you want to skip over the part about making the base balm, you can do that and just skip right to when I start the menthol. When I edit the tape, I'll try to put, you know, when this starts up here. So if you have petroleum jelly or some of the base that you want to use, you can just skip right over to that. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my standard recipe, which is a cup of oil to an ounce of beeswax. Now, a cup is 8 ounces, so I want a half a cup of my butters. So I want a cup of oils and a half a cup of my butters. Now, a half a cup is 4 ounces, so I have 4 ounces of butter here, and I'm going to put an ounce of oils together. In an effort to standardize this, which is one of my goals, I've decided to go with half arnica, and in my strong version of this, I use all arnica and comfrey. Comfrey is also very healing, so if you don't have either of these, just using any base oil is good. I'm going to see if I can fit 8 ounces of oil into the butters. I might not, but we'll see what happens. Okay, that's 4, so that's good. I might not fit all the rest of it, so I'm going to put these in and I'm going to start them in the double boiler. So right now what I have is 4 ounces of arnica, 2 ounces of shea butter, 2 ounces of cocoa butter. You could also add coconut oil to this, but I'm going to add 4 ounces of comfrey infused oil. And it's going to make, comfrey's very green, so it's going to make it very green. And now I'm going to weigh out my beeswax. So I have 1.5 ounces of beeswax in there, and I get beeswax from small beekeepers. And if you've never smelt the difference between getting it from a small beekeeper that doesn't use insecticides, doesn't harm the bees, because there are very harmful practices to bees, and bees are really important to the ecosystem, and I don't like to buy from commercial bee farmers who do terrible things to bees. I put the 1.5 ounces of beeswax in there. Now again, you want to use petroleum jelly, you could forego these steps. So now we're going to start doing our ingredients for the medium muscle balm. Now, one thing that I want to say is whenever I go on to people's sites and they say, you know, they're showing you making soap, making skincare products, making balms, and somebody in comments will usually say, you know, could you give us the amounts? Somebody will always say, oh, I don't give out any of my recipes. And I find that really distasteful because I don't think any of us were born knowing how to make soap or how to make balms or how to make skincare products. We all had to learn somewhere. And yes, I understand perfecting recipes over the course of many months and coming up with the perfect thing. I mean, I'm doing it right now. This is part of my experimentation. I mean, this rollerball thing might not work, and I'm back to the drawing board. But every one of us has a basic recipe of something that you can give someone. So if you know, I mean, it's up to you whatever you want to do. But for me, if I go on a site and somebody goes, I never give out any of my recipes ever, I will never go back to that person's site. I will never buy anything. Because sometimes I buy things from other people to see what I'll be like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe I'll buy one and see how it comes out. You know, it's nothing like touching and feeling a product, you know, rather than just watch somebody make it. So I believe we all have basic recipes that we could and should share with other people, with new people. So, you know, you know, your mileage may vary. You might say it's perfectly fine for them to do whatever they do. But for me, it's not. For me, it's like we need to help each other. And yes, there's certain proprietary recipes. Definitely keep to yourself. But I don't believe in saying I never give out any recipe ever. Because, like, then leave me alone. You know, unless you have some amazing technique that I want to learn, there's really nothing that you have that I want to see. I mean, I've seen amazing techniques from people who do share their recipes. So I really don't need to see more from you unless it's, like, so amazing. So anyway, that's my little recipe rant. So this recipe, I'm going to tell you the base recipe. I use different oils. I use chamomile, which is very healing, very soothing. It's not quite as strong as arnica and comfrey, but it's very soothing and very healing. I use less menthol, and I use clove bud and camphor, and that's it. That's all that's in my light recipe, except you know, I think I put in shea butter and cocoa butter, or shea butter and coconut oil, whatever it is for the base. But my base is just the regular base, and about 5 grams of menthol. Menthol is very strong, so be careful with it. I use about 2 grams of clove bud and about 2 grams of camphor for a cup of oil. And oh, I might put lavender, and you could put lavender, you could put eucalyptus, you could put peppermint, wintergreen. I'm going to put wintergreen in here. So anyway, I'm going to get my amounts for my medium, and I'll be right back. Okay, one thing that I suggest that I'm going to talk about before I forget is when you're first doing this, you should really try to use, I know that you're not using a lot of these, but we're not using that much of each oil. So sometimes the scale has trouble picking up on it until it goes past it. I don't know how reliable your scale is, but my scale seems to do that. So I would, to be safe, because you don't want to try to extract essential oils out of it. But when you first start, and I should have done this when I started, is to use a separate dish for each thing that you weigh. I'm sorry, I'm weighing and talking at the same time. Okay, so what I've done is I have 7 grams of menthol chips. If you can get menthol essential oil, you might like that better than the chips. I have 2 grams of clove bud essential oil. I have 4 grams of cajeput essential oil. I have 3 grams of camphor essential oil. And I have 3 grams of wintergreen essential oil. And I have 4 grams of lavender essential oil. Now, lavender essential oil is the one that's not really doing much of anything. It just sometimes takes the camphor smell away. A lot of people don't want to smell like, you know, like your grandmother's closet. So you can find some other scents that might be nice, like lemon balm, something like that. Instead of wintergreen, you can use peppermint. And the only thing that's really necessary in this, again, is the camphor. And I think the clove bud is necessary. It might not be, but I think that it is anyway. So I have my essential oils here. I have my menthol here, and I'm going to mix it all in with the melted beeswax butters and oils. But first I'm going to clean up because I want to see how this goes and leave my little, I need to alcohol and spritz it with boiling water, my little roll-on thing. And so I'm going to put all this away so we have a nice clear workspace, and then I'll be back. Okay, I've been trying for about 15 minutes to get this this camera to behave correctly, so excuse any jostling because I'm holding it with one hand trying to do it with the other hand. This is the menthol chips going in. There's 7 grams of menthol chips. And like I said, you should wear a mask if you are at all sensitive to it. And if you want more menthol to make it stronger, that's good. If you want less. Now this is my clove bud, cajeput, wintergreen, camphor, and lavender going in now. Now to make it stronger, there's a few different things you could do. You can add more menthol, more camphor, more cajeput, more of everything. You could add more than 1 mint. You could add peppermint and wintergreen. You could add eucalyptus. Lemon balm is nice. You could also add cassia essential oil, which is cinnamon. And you can add ground ginger. And if you do add ground ginger, you might need to strain it. I've never had to when I've tried it. And you could, you know, some people have said you could use turmeric, but turmeric stains, so I wouldn't do that. If you've read any recipes that have turmeric in them, I would forego that, definitely. You can make this stronger, you know, with, you know, lots of other things. So, you know, my exact stronger recipe is, you know, just I use all arnica infused instead of arnica and comfrey. I increase the menthol, I increase the clove bud and the cajeput. I don't think I use more than 1 mint. I think I only use 1. And eucalyptus, you can still add the lavender for a nice smell with all of the different very strong essential oils. You might overpower the lavender in the strongest one. But, you know, play with it. That's what I did for a long time. So, and if you want less, the only thing you really need in this is your base, which could be anything, even petroleum jelly. Some menthol, could either be menthol chips like I used here, or menthol essential oil, and camphor. And you could actually stop there. You know, I like to add the clove bud, and to make it, you know, a little bit stronger, but not quite as strong as the medium, you could add a little bit of the cajeput. But definitely play with them and be careful with your scale, because sometimes, you know, you only need a few drops of something to make, you know, 1 or 2 grams, and it doesn't really show up on the scale. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to alcohol my jars, and I'll be back. Okay, I don't know if you saw in my beard balm video, my blue gloves ripped, and I thought at that night that it was me because I was in such a hurry. Things were cooling down, and you know, it was just crazy. But Anyway, I just spritzed, these just came out of the box. I spritzed them. I should have put them in the boiling water when I had it, but I put it in the glass thing that I used to spray it out because I didn't want to put the little roller thing in the boiling water. So I didn't really think of it, but that's what I should have done. Okay, so I'm just going to take my little solution and I'm going to put it, I'm trying to think, I should probably put it in this one first. I should get a funnel. When you have little containers like this, you can get these funnels that have like these little spouts on them. Which I like for, you know, these little ones, because otherwise the spout would touch the bottom and you wouldn't be able to see it. Let me see. Yep. Alright, so in we go. I hope this works for the rollerball. Alright, put too much. Take the funnel out. Okay. If you fear that water gets into your mix, you're going to have to add a preservative. Mine did not, but sometimes you can see that water has gotten into it. Wow, that's strong for a medium, so I don't think this is going to fill all the way up, but we shall see. No. I'll take some off the roller ball. I'll use this one for experimentation. Alright, so that's it. That's our medium muscle balm. And I'll bring you back when it hardens. It's not going to be much of a big deal, but I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so it's been about an hour and a half, and what I did here was I took some of the balm from in here, the one that didn't go quite all the way, and I put it in here because I didn't think that the rollerball was hitting the product. And hopefully, what I think you should do with these, and I'm not quite sure, but if you notice there's a little flat top, I think that if you filled the product up this way, it would all come down. But there is product coming out. It's not as thick as when you use, you know, it out of the jar, but I really need this for, actually this is working pretty well. So I like this, and I'm going to order some more and see if I can kind of perfect this formula. I'll let you know what happens with this because, you know, I want to see what happens as the product goes down. You know, does it stay, you know, does it keep coming up to the ball? I don't actually know how these work. So anyway, this is the product. Now, there's a little indentation in there, and I'm going to look up and see why that happens. I actually read something about this once. It could just be, you know, it looks like a little bit of a temperature issue. So I don't know, but you could always, because I didn't put the vitamin E in here, you could always remelt it if you think it didn't melt evenly. You could put it in like a little hot water bath and let it slowly. I wouldn't put it in the microwave, just because you really don't want the inside of your microwave smelling like camphor. But I would just put it in a hot boiling water bath up to about here. Let it remelt, and then let them sit in the water until it cools. So anyway, this is the consistency. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's not, because it's got the shea butter in there and the cocoa butter, it's quite, I guess, creamy, you would say, if you can see that. And let me put this on here. So, you can see that it melts when it, gets contact with the skin. And it's not, for me, I use the heavy one all the time. So this is not that heavy for me. Some people might find it to be heavy. Now, one thing that I want to tell you is I've made this before with shea butter, and this one seems really nice and creamy. But sometimes if you make it with shea butter, and why I would use coconut oil if you're not trying to do the rollerball thing. I mean, I really did the coconut, the cocoa butter and the shea butter because I want to do this, and coconut oil might actually work better. I'm gonna try that, but instead of just prattling on here, I have made this with shea butter where it's come out grainy and it feels like grains of sand. So you might want to do cocoa butter and coconut oil, or you might want to leave those out. I actually like when you put like some butter in, but you might want to forego the shea butter if you get a graininess issue. This time I didn't, but one time before I did, and every single one of them I used myself because I didn't feel like I could be able to sell it. So that's my medium muscle balm. All natural, nothing, all the butters are organic, all the oils are organic, herbs, no petroleum, and all essential oils. So if you want a really great natural organic muscle balm, this is the way to go. If you don't want to make it yourself, you can buy this in our Etsy store. So, and our website should be up. It is the 6th of May. Our website should be up by the 15th of May. So see you there.